Hey, Daily Dosers. This is Pastor Larry Osborne here, and I want to share a few thoughts on parenting from really a pretty sad passage in Scripture. It's found in 1 Samuel chapter 3, and it's about a priest named Eli and his two grown sons who had walked away from God to the point they were blaspheming the Lord. And so the Lord steps in and he takes their life, which means, by the way, not only Eli has lost his son, but the lineage of priesthood that was flowing through him was now over as well. And a young boy named Samuel, through whom the book First and Second Samuel is named after, is the one who had the responsibility of delivering the message. And God's message to Eli is that the children are going to die. And then here's the reason. For I told him that I would judge his family forever because of the sin, now catch this, he knew about. His sons blasphemed God, and he failed to restrain them. Therefore, I swore to the house of Eli, the guilt of Eli's house will never be atoned for by sacrifice or offering. It's done, it's over. Not long after that, Eli fell over and died as well. Now, what a happy thought to start the day with a daily dose. But there's something profoundly important in the midst of that for every one of you that are in the parenting space right now. I think too often we focus on trying to make our children into something. Often we have our own image of it. We want this child to be academically excellent. We want this child to be athletically excellent or popular or whatever it would be. It's kind of, we've drank the Kool-Aid of our culture that says a great parent maximizes all the potential of that child. But you know what? We can have a child that gains the whole world, and if they lose their soul, what have we gained? And part of the problem that happens is when we focus on all of these other things we want our children to become, rather than simply godly sons and daughters, we end up not restraining sin because we're so excited about success that's over here. And I want to just give you a little bit of practical advice. I have seen as Nancy and I raised our own children, I have seen as I've pastored a church for decades and watched young kids grow up into young adults and then parents with their own kids. Over and over, I've seen the biggest mistake that we make is we don't restrain sin. We don't wake up and worry about the big issues of disobedience. We worry about all of the smaller opportunities that are in front of them. You know what? If you will restrain sin, God will take care of all of the rest. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be an embittering, harsh parent, not in letting your child be a child, acting like a 5-year-old should act like a spiritual saint that's 20 years old. I'm not saying that at all. But what is it that gets you most excited? Character or victories? What is it that gets you most depressed? Sin or somehow not making that game-winning shot, not being selected for that role in a play, not being popular, all of these different things that as parents cause us to switch our priority from the main thing. You know, I spent a lot of time praying about and trying to create the best path I could for my children. But at the end of the day, the most important thing Nancy and I did was to watch carefully those areas where sin was creeping in and beginning to take a foothold and making sure we did whatever was necessary to make sure it didn't get that foothold. And that at the end of the day, we'd done our part to help them become godly people rather than successful children. There is a difference. And when it's all said and done, restrain the sin and let God create all the opportunity and potential. And you'll be glad you did.